Coca-Cola stock is down by 3.5% over the past week, in part due to events that happened in the Euro 2020. Okay, take a look at this video, and then we're going to discuss whether or not Coca-Cola stock is a buy. So there's two Coke bottles on the left. Cristiano Ronaldo removes them, puts them to the side.
Coca-Cola.
Encouraging people to drink water instead of Coca-Cola. So welcome back to another video. Before we get into it, all I ask is that you smash the thumbs up button, and if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel as well as checking out the link to the free Discord down below, okay? And I usually don't talk about stocks like Coca-Cola just because it's not as much seen anymore as a high growth stock, but it is known to be a very good dividend paying, slowly growing company. And even with the economic recovery, they're expected to do high single digit to even double digit growth this year. And that's why I'm interested in the stock. And of course, I always like a good deal in the market, all right? So right now they pay about 3.10% dividend. Market cap is 231, and the price to earnings ratio of 32 looks a little bit rich, okay? But we're going to look at the forward P ratio and take a look at their growth factors and see that it's not actually as highly valued as you think it is, because this is a trailing 12 months price to earnings ratio, which means it's factoring in the earnings over the past year when the whole world was closed, okay? And people weren't going out to bars and ordering Cokes, for example, okay? And also it's owned by some behemoths such as Berkshire Hathaway, of course, Warren Buffett's conglomerate. They have about a 10% stake in Coca-Cola. And I'm saying this looks like a pretty attractive valuation right now, okay? And so it's unlikely Coke stock will stay in the penalty box for too long as the business begins to partake in the global economic recovery. Okay, so beverage giant told investors in April that global unit cases in volume in March was back to 2019 levels, paced by people continuing to consume more food at home during the pandemic. Coke highlighted strength in its trademark Coke brand, sparkling beverages, and juice and nutrition products. And it's not like Coke just owns Diet Coke, Coke, etc. They have a bunch of subsidiaries. So, for example, Costa Coffee, Minute Maid, and they have more brands as well, okay? So Coke reiterated its full-year sales outlook for a high single-digit percentage year-over-year gain. Earnings growth continues to be pegged at high single digits to low double digits. So I think this is what makes Coke stock attractive. And if you're looking at the technicals, which I'll just analyze right here, of course, they paid a dividend of 42 cents a couple of days ago on the 14th. And here, this represents the Bollinger Bands, the higher and lower Bollinger Bands in red and green respectively. And what I like to do, I'm just going to quickly doodle here. What I like to do is buy stocks that are riding or surpassing the lower Bollinger Band, okay? And it's nice to see that it's also trading below the 20-day moving average in orange and the 50-day moving average in purple here, which is at $54.57, okay? So again, it's nice to buy stocks when they break through some sort of resistance, and I think this is a pretty good price point, especially with the economic recovery, okay? And again, what I do is I look at, this is the 20-day moving average in orange at $55, and the lower Bollinger Band is 2 standard deviations below the 20-day moving average, okay? Excuse me there, okay? And again, it's looking like Coke stock is oversold at around a 38. I'd like it to come down to 35 and become even more oversold, and there might be even some more selling pressure. So I'd say potentially wait and see if you can get Coca-Cola stock at the $53 level, and if you can, I would pounce on that opportunity, and I definitely know I will. And of course, there's been a crossover in the MACD, and there's like a huge bearish sentiment here. But again, maybe wait a couple of days for this red candle to not be as red anymore, because Coke is not known to be a very volatile stock, and then slowly add into your position there. So that's probably what I'm going to do. But even at $53.77, I think Coke is a buy, okay? And again, if you're looking at the trailing P of 32, that's expensive. You look at the forward P of 22, and that's not that expensive, okay, considering that the average PE ratio, forward PE ratio of companies in S&P 500, I think is around like the mid 30s right now. Of course, not a highly shorted stock. And also there's been growing interest in Coca-Cola as more like a meme stock. Of course, because it has a market cap of $230 something billion, I don't know how much Redditors can actually move Coca-Cola stock relative to something like AMC, which has ballooned in market cap to like 40 billion, but still, you know, Coca-Cola company is one of those like more regular, more stable stocks, okay? And again, this is just like analyst expectations for the 2021. They're expecting growth of 11%, which is really not bad, getting 11% return on your investment. But I mean, of course, this is revenue growth, but still 11% growth for such a big company, I think is pretty solid. Next year expected to grow 6%. But again, I think at this valuation, I think Coca-Cola stock seems pretty attractive, all right? And if you're just like looking at, let's say, the 1-year chart of Coke, of course, it's up 17% over the past year. So again, not bad. And a lot of the recovery has already been factored in. But again, I think this recent downturn swing is just a short-term momentum trading that will soon be phased out as, of course, the selling pressure eases, okay? But again, like you're looking at Coke stock over the past 5 years, I mean, it's only up 22%. All right, so I think it has a lot more room to run. Of course, it was trading at $60 before the pandemic, and then it went all the way back down to $38. And I mean, you could have made a nice gain if you bought or invested in then. And I mean, it's just like a good stock to own for the long run, and you keep earning those dividends, all right? So overall, I really like Coca-Cola stock for the dividends as well as a solid growth play and a less volatile stock. So if you want to sleep at night, this could be a good long-term value play for you now, all right? Not as risky as some of the other stocks that I talk about and I own in my portfolio, but it's always good to own a couple of safer stocks, all right? So, I mean, like, look at the volatility. So the 52-week low is $43, 52-week high is $56. That's a span of like $13 in 1 year. And that's really not that much considering some of the stocks that I own move by like 50% in the span of a couple of weeks, all right? And again, just to reiterate how nice Coca-Cola stock is in terms of their dividends. So look, like this recent quarter, they paid a dividend of 42 cents. But if you zoom out, if you zoom out really, so again, 42 cents, they paid 42 cents, of course, previous quarter. But if you go back, let's say to 2018, they paid 37 cents instead of 42 cents. So that's always the benefit and the dream of owning a solid dividend company from the start, okay? So Warren Buffett, for example, he owned Coke since like the 1990s, I think. And I mean, like even back to 2012 levels, 2011 levels, they paid 23 cents, okay? Now it's all the way up till 42 cents. So again, like this is just like common sense, but if you buy a stock and hold it over the long term, generally now, you can come to a point where you own a dividend stock that pays out more in dividends than what the actual share price you bought it at was, okay? So if you zoom out, let's just do like the max chart here. And then, of course, let's like zoom in right at the beginning. So this stock was trading at like 22 cents. They're paying 42 cents in a dividend right now, okay? And that's when they had 0.001 as a dividend, all right? So this just shows the power of owning a stock for the long term, okay? You would get each quarter dividend, you get more than what the share price was worth, all right? So again, that's just like my 2 cents. I think it could be a good time to start accumulating on this 2% move. So yeah, overall, I think Cristiano Ronaldo and the markets in general just made Coca-Cola stock a whole lot more interesting. So yeah, cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.